what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, cause your perfume isn't loud, and only I can talk about.
My name is Romy St. Hilaire. I'm the co-curator with Stefanie for this exhibit, and I'm the director and founder of Art in the Antilles, which is we support Afro-Caribbean artists in Boston, and we're one of 10 collectives of organizations that operate the Cultural Equity Incubator, which is the space that we're in now. It's a really intentional space, a space for communities of color, BIPOC folks at the margins of our city, to come together through arts and culture, through public programs, and just like activate our city. So we're so thankful that Steffi was aligned with us and the opportunities we have here to show her very first solo exhibition with us. It's amazing, and being collaborators have been incredible. Like, it's been a really rewarding working process for me as a curator to just have such a meaningful thoughtfulness in the process of working with an artist. So yeah, you set the bar really high.
First of all, thank y'all so much for coming. I just want to really shout out my uncle right here, Uncle Michael. My experience being the youngest is that I don't actually have a lot of photos of my childhood, which is ironic that I'm a photographer and I've photographed so many people, but he's the person, which is so crazy. I haven't seen you since I was a child. So, but as soon as he walked up a while ago, I was like, oh my God, which is crazy. That's such a blessing. Thank you so much for being here. I had a whole thing planned, but I'm like, I just have to lift you up because literally some of the photos I was going to include in that first room with my family was some of the photos that you took. So this is so crazy. Last year actually prayed for space. By that I mean I love what I do. I love photographing others, but I really felt like I had stepped away from my creative practice. And we kept in communication, and when you approached me about this residency, I was like, wait, so you mean I will have the opportunity to just be in my creative practice, have access to such a beautiful space, something that if you're an artist here in Boston, you know, or just an artist period, you know that that's usually a barrier. And that also aligned with a journey that I've been on for about 2, 3, 4 years around trying to understand my own birth story in the ways that storytelling and oral historians are like very, very present in my family. But some things we just don't talk about, right? Like we just don't know. And for me, I would always rely on photos. But then again, as I said, like I didn't really, up to a certain age, I didn't have a lot of those. So I would really rely on the stories of like my uncles and aunts, my grandparents. And I realized very quickly that there's a unique story. Especially my mom, both sides of my family, but I'm focusing on my maternal side of the family where my grandparents were Salvation Army officers. If folks don't know, it's a Christian denomination. They're like missionaries basically. So every 4 years they're stationed somewhere else. And so I thought this was normal. I thought that like families would like hop around and like, but basically every 4 years they would move. And it really had me thinking about what were the stories along the way? Like I've heard certain stories growing up, but like, what was it like for my grandmother who had 6 children and had them in different places and was traveling every couple of years? Like, what was that experience really like? What was it like to be like the first Black Corps officers that represented Jamaica at that time? Like, what was that like? So last year, my aunt, who's the eldest, Auntie Lucy, she reminded me that she had collected all of my grandfather's photos when he passed away. And it really like unlocked a lot for me in terms of being able to visually see the migration from Jamaica to Grenada to Guyana to Trinidad, back to Jamaica and then to the States when they retired. And this photo right here is really, really special. That's actually my grandfather's camera that took most of those photos. My uncle in Oklahoma actually has the camera, and he, was really amazing to give me a photo of it. And I wanted it to be at the end of the exhibition because I don't know what y'all envisioned or who you envisioned took the photos and how, but that is really, really symbolic because for me, growing up, there was a lot of like missing pieces, and this exhibition has really connected me. And it doesn't stop here, but it really has connected me to feel more grounded in my story. If you have worked with me, if we are in community, I'm always inviting folks to document their lives. It doesn't mean that you have to buy a camera. It doesn't mean that you have to be elaborate. You could write, you could journal, you could use your phone and do voice memos. You could be intentional about conversations that you have with people and how you retain that. It is a practice that for me, being a bicultural person, being from Jamaica, born and raised there, living in the US, there's a lot of home or the discussion of home and belonging that comes up in so many different ways. And I feel like whenever I have conversations with folks and I get to really understand parts of them, it really anchors me wherever I am. So home for me is wherever I'm in community. I just really want to lift that up in the space because I know that folks are maybe coming to this space and there's a lot of things that are coming up for you that you're maybe holding internally. And as a creative, I'm always gonna say, write it out, sing about it, cook about it, whatever your response is. And thank you all so much for coming. And if you know me, you know that there's always an experiential. So